do. There is an article in the New York Times today that essentially makes the same point. It's the world's fault that Obama's having problems. Europe and economics. Syria and other places in the middle. Oh, speaking of which, I wasn't going to do this, but I've changed my grab audio soundbite number 1. Go back to this. I was not going to do this, but it's now reared its head. January 31st of 2011, when the Muslim Brotherhood, the Arab Spring was going on, and the Muslim Brotherhood was wreaking havoc. They were trying to get Mubarak out of there. And old buddy Nick Robertson from CNN was over there on the ground in Tahrir Square, which is not a square. And he was talking to all these Egyptians. And he said, so tell us, Egyptians. One was Mustafa, the other one was Ahmed. Tell us, Mustafa, how do you feel about President Obama and his magnificent role in gaining freedom? President Obama, he's not here. President Obama is not helping us. What are you talking, President Obama? Well, okay, well, let me move on. Ahmed, could you please tell us, what do you think of President Obama being concerned about Egyptians having jobs? Obama, he's not here. What the hell are you talking about Obama? You asking me about Obama for? We're trying to get rid of Mubarak. What's Obama got to do? And as you can see, said Nick Robertson, President Obama much on the minds of the Egyptians here who greatly and gratifyingly approve of President Obama. All the while this is going on, our great moderate Republicans, oh, man, the Arab Spring, freedom breaking out. And I said, I don't think so. It's January 31st, 2011, last year.
It is the Muslim Brotherhood, but what's really known about them? They claim they're for democracy and all that, but that could all be smokescreen. On the other hand, we have said from the get-go that if you wanted the second term of Jimmy Carter, elect Barack Obama. Well, here we are. And what happened in the first term of Jimmy Carter? We lost Iran to a bunch of radical Islamist extremists. Are we looking at the second term of Jimmy Carter here, losing Egypt to a bunch of radicalized Islamist extremists?
Looks like that's exactly what happened. That was January 31st of 2011, a year and a half ago, folks. Back then, it was popular to say the Muslim Brotherhood, that's a different bunch of guys. These are guys we can work with. Moderates, that's exactly right. Well, it turns out they're not. They're just as radical as any other Islamic jihad group is. And the military is running the country, and the Brotherhood took over from the military. It was a planned handoff. And I think back to all of our moderate Republican foreign policy establishment types celebrate, oh, it's such a wonderful thing, the outbreak of freedom in the Middle East. Now, the New York Times has this story, and here's the headline: in a world of complications, Obama faces a re-election test. So Chris Cillizza at the Washington Post, poor Obama, so partisan out there, he can't get anything done. He has to answer for everything. There's just too much disagreement. The job may be too big for one man. It's just not possible. And all these, we used to be that we all be able to get things done, but now all of Twitter and Facebook make me irrelevant. Now the New York Times with a companion story. In a world of complications, Obama faces a re-election test. Yes, my friends, it's Greece and Spain, and those stupid Europeans can't handle money. And the Middle East, we've got the Muslim Brotherhood and Egypt situation and all that's crashing around. And get the Iranians and their nukes. And you got the foreign policy leaks from the regime. Back in January of 2011, we were told that the Muslim Brotherhood wasn't behind the Arab Spring or the Egyptian uprising, and that they wouldn't start a political party, that they wouldn't run for parliament, they wouldn't put up a candidate. Everything they did, we were told they wouldn't do. Everything they stood for, we were told they didn't stand for. Everything they were going to do, they haven't done. Everything that we predicted they would do, they've done. And so now, events are cascading out of President Kardashian's control. Chris Cillizza at the Washington Post is worried about it, and the New York Times, in a world of complications, Obama faces a re-election test. That New York Times, you'll hear how that starts, all right? For Obama, a president who set out to restore good relations with the world in his first term, the world doesn't seem to be cooperating all that much with his bid to win a second term. And what the hell's the world thinking? Doesn't the world know that its only reason for existence is Obama's second term? Well, that's how this thing is written. Europe seemed unable to contain its economic crisis to just Greece. The Syrian conflict is intensified. Egypt's popular revolution's at risk of being reversed by the military, if never anything other than that. There really is brazen, blatant stupidity and arrogance at the highest levels of journalism today. Egypt's popular revolution is at risk of being reversed by the military. And then the Russians are cracking down at home and rattling sabers abroad. Russians are giving defense missiles to Bashar al-Assad. Yep, the Russians are giving defense missiles to Syria. Now, how petty. That's right, helicopter. How petty and selfish these other countries are. They got their priorities mixed up. Their job is to make Obama look good, not their own self-interest. Don't they get it?